Let's talk about the truth most people don't want to hear. Life doesn't hand out success, happiness, or security like participation trophies. If you're waiting for things to magically fall into place, you'll be waiting forever. Here's the reality. You are where you are because of the choices you've made, the habits you've formed, and the mindset you carry. That's a tough pill to swallow. It's much easier to blame circumstances, bad luck, or the system. But let me tell you something. Excuses don't build empires. Excuses don't put food on the table. Excuses don't create freedom. Every day you have a choice to take control or to let life control you, to step up or to step aside. The people who win in life aren't waiting for a handout, a miracle, or the perfect time. They're out there grinding, learning, adapting, and refusing to stay stuck in the same place. They don't complain about obstacles, they bulldoze through them. They don't fear failure, they use it as fuel. Let's set the record straight. Wealth isn't about luck, success isn't about luck, financial freedom isn't about luck. It's about strategy, discipline, and relentless execution. People love to say, oh, they just got lucky. No. What looks like luck is usually years of effort that nobody saw. It's the late nights, the sacrifices, the decisions that were made when no one was watching. You can't win the game if you don't know the rules. And right now, most people are playing blindfolded. If you're drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, or constantly stressed about money, it's not because the universe is against you. It's because something in your financial habits needs to change. And the sooner you admit that, the sooner you can fix it. Are you budgeting? Are you investing? Are you learning how money works or just hoping for a better paycheck? Are you spending on things that bring short-term comfort but long-term struggle? Because here's the truth, money flows to those who respect it. If you treat it recklessly, it will abandon you. If you learn how to control it, it will multiply for you. You want financial freedom? Stop waiting for someone to save you. Start building, learning, and making the hard choices that most people avoid. The brutal difference between those who win and those who stay stuck. The difference is simple, mindset and execution. Winners see obstacles as challenges to overcome. The stuck see them as reasons to quit. Winners take full ownership of their lives. The stuck blame everyone and everything else. Winners are willing to be uncomfortable, to fail, to learn, and to keep going. The stuck choose comfort, even if it means staying in the same miserable situation forever. Look around. Most people aren't living, they're surviving. They wake up, go to jobs they hate, complain about their lives, and then numb themselves with entertainment, junk food, and distractions. And year after year, nothing changes. You know why? Because change is uncomfortable, and comfort is addictive. You will never rise above the life you tolerate. Read that again. If you tolerate excuses, you'll always have them. If you tolerate laziness, you'll always feel stuck. If you tolerate fear, you'll always live small. Winners refuse to tolerate mediocrity. They push, they grow, they demand more from themselves, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. So ask yourself, are you ready to be brutally honest about where you are? Because if you are, you can change it. But if you keep making excuses, justifying inaction, and waiting for luck, you'll be in the same place next year and the year after that. We hear it all the time. The system is rigged. The odds are stacked against us. No matter what I do, I can't win. And you know what? That's an easy thing to believe. It's comforting. Because if the system is rigged, then failure isn't your fault. It's out of your hands. You get to throw your arms up and say, well, I tried, and walk away. But let's take a step back. Is the system really rigged, or is it just difficult? There's a difference. Yes, some people start with advantages, wealth, connections, better opportunities. But does that mean the rest of us have no shot? No, it means we have to work harder, think smarter, and push further. And history proves this. Some of the most successful people in the world started with absolutely nothing. Oprah Winfrey was born into poverty. Howard Schultz, the man behind Starbucks, grew up in a housing project. J.K. Rowling was a struggling single mother on welfare before she became one of the best-selling authors in history. If the system were truly rigged, if success were impossible for people like them, then how did they make it? Let me tell you something. The system isn't a locked door, it's just a damn maze. It's tough. It's confusing, it'll test your patience, but if you keep moving, keep searching, and refuse to give up, you'll find a way through. So stop using the system as an excuse, because as long as you believe the game is unwinnable, you won't even try to play. We all know people who are stuck in dead-end jobs, stuck in toxic relationships, stuck in the same cycle year after year. Maybe you feel stuck right now. And then there are others. People who had the same struggles, the same circumstances, the same obstacles, but somehow they broke free. They built a better life. They climbed higher. They became something more. What's the difference? Is it luck? No, luck is just what people call it when they don't want to face the truth. The real difference, mindset. People who break free don't wait for permission. They don't sit around hoping for things to change. They decide, they commit, and they do what most people won't. Here's what keeps people trapped. Fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. But let me ask you something. What's more terrifying, the fear of failing or the fear of wasting your entire life? Because that's the real choice. The people who escape the cycle, they choose discomfort over regret. They choose growth over excuses. They understand that nothing changes unless they change. So ask yourself, are you waiting for something to magically happen, or are you ready to make it happen? Because the only way out is through. There's something dangerous about seeing yourself as a victim. It feels good, it feels safe. When you're a victim, nothing is your fault. You get sympathy. You get to say, this happened to me instead of I let this happen. But here's the catch. Victim mentality will steal your future. Because as long as you believe life is happening to you, you'll never take control, you'll never fight back, you'll never take risks, because what's the point? You'll convince yourself that no matter what you do, nothing will change. That's the trap. People who stay in victim mode don't even realize the cost. They give up their power. They hand over control of their life to circumstances, to other people, to the past. They become prisoners, not because they have to be, but because they refuse to pick up the damn key. Now let's be real, bad things happen. People betray you. Life isn't always fair. But you have two choices, stay bitter or get better. Every time you blame, you waste energy that could be used to build something. Every time you complain, you reinforce your own chains. Every time you say it's not my fault, you give away the one thing that can actually change your life, your responsibility. You don't control everything that happens, but you do control how you respond. And that response, that's what separates those who rise from those who... So I'll ask you, are you ready to take your power back? Or are you going to keep handing it over? The choice is yours. How many times have you looked at someone successful and thought, they're just smarter than me, or they were born talented? That belief is a lie. Intelligence and talent might give you a head start, but they don't determine how far you go. The world is full of brilliant failures. People with high IQs, endless talent, and nothing to show for it. And on the flip side, there are people who weren't the smartest, weren't the most gifted, but they refused to quit. They kept going long after everyone else stopped. Let me tell you something. The most powerful force in success is not intelligence, it's not talent. It's discipline. Discipline is the ability to show up when you don't feel like it. To keep pushing when results are slow. To do the work even when nobody's watching. Talent fades without effort. Intelligence is wasted without action. But discipline is the foundation that turns small daily habits into massive success. Look at someone like David Goggins. He wasn't born a Navy SEAL, an ultramarathon runner, or a world-class athlete. He was overweight, broke, and going nowhere. But he built discipline, he trained his mind and his body, and he forced himself to show up day after day until there was no other option but success. So stop worrying about how smart you are. Stop waiting for talent to carry you. Focus on discipline. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you have. It's about what you do. People think the biggest threat to their financial success is not making enough money. They think it's the job market, the economy, or bad luck. But let's get real. The silent killer of financial success isn't external, it's your habits. It's the little unnoticed decisions that drain your future. The daily impulse purchases. The I'll start saving next month mindset. The way you justify small, unnecessary spending, thinking it doesn't matter. Let me ask you something. If someone took $10 out of your wallet every day, would you be mad? Of course you would. But if you're spending $10 daily on things you don't need, you're doing that to yourself. Financial success isn't about how much you make. It's about how much you keep, how much you invest, how much you build. Look at someone like Warren Buffett. He didn't get rich overnight. He lived frugally, invested wisely, and let time do its job. Meanwhile, plenty of people making six figures are drowning in debt because they never learned how to control their habits. Your future wealth isn't decided by a lottery ticket. It's built on daily choices. And if you don't control those choices, they will control you. Let's be honest, sometimes your worst enemy isn't the world, your circumstances, or other people, it's you. You say you want success, but do your actions match your words? You hit snooze instead of waking up early, You waste hours on distractions instead of improving yourself. You make excuses instead of making progress. And here's the hard truth. Every small act of self-sabotage adds up. Every time you procrastinate, delay, or avoid doing the work, you're reinforcing the very habits that keep you stuck. Think about this. If someone followed you around all day, recording everything you did, and played it back to you at night, would you be proud of how you spent your time? If the answer is no, you already know what's holding you back. Success doesn't come from what you say you want, it comes from what you do every single day. And if you don't fix the habits that are quietly sabotaging you, they will slowly destroy your potential. The good news, you have the power to stop it. Right now. Starts with awareness, starts with small corrections, starts with choosing discipline over comfort, because if you don't break your bad habits, they will break you. Life will give you two choices over and over again. You can either keep complaining or you can take control. And let's be real, complaining feels good, doesn't it? It feels easy. It gives you a way out. When you complain, you don't have to take responsibility. You don't have to change anything. You just get to sit there and talk about how unfair life is, how nothing ever goes your way, how the system is stacked against you. But let me ask you something, where does that get you? Has complaining ever put more money in your bank account? Has it ever made you stronger? Has it ever solved your problems? No, it just keeps you stuck. Because here's the truth, the moment you take control, everything changes. And no, that doesn't mean your problems disappear overnight. It means you stop waiting for someone else to fix them. It means you stop looking for excuses and start looking for solutions. It means you stop wasting time blaming others and start taking responsibility for your own damn life. Let me tell you something, every person who has ever made it, every person who turned their life around, had a moment where they stopped complaining and decided to take control. So ask yourself, are you ready to do the same? Or are you going to spend another year talking about why you can't? Nobody wants to hear this, but I'll say it anyway. If you're struggling financially, the first step to fixing it isn't making more money, it's learning to manage what you already have. I know. That's not what people want to hear. It's way easier to believe that the answer is, I just need a higher paying job, or I need a big break. But the truth is, if you can't handle $1,000 wisely, you won't handle $10,000 wisely. If you're reckless with $10,000, you'll be reckless with $100,000. That's why so many lottery winners go broke. It's why high income earners still live paycheck to paycheck, because their habits didn't change. And that's where the uncomfortable first step comes in. You have to be brutally honest with yourself about where your money is going. Look at your spending. Every dollar, every unnecessary purchase, every time you let emotions, boredom, or impulse control your wallet. Because here's the thing, financial success isn't just about income. It's about discipline. Discipline with spending, discipline with saving, discipline with investing, and discipline starts with awareness. If you don't know where your money is going, you have no chance of changing your financial future. So do the hard thing, track it, study it, fix it. Because if you don't control your money, it will always control you. Right now there are two types of people listening to this message. The first group, they hear this, they nod their heads, they say, yeah, that makes sense, and then they do nothing. They go back to their old habits, their old mindset, their old excuses. They let life happen to them instead of taking control. And that's most people. Most people will ignore this message because change is uncomfortable, because it's easier to stay the same. Because deep down, they want success, but they don't want to work for it. But then there's the second group. The second group hears this and makes a decision. They refuse to be like everyone else. They refuse to settle. They refuse to let another day slip by without taking action. And the difference between these two groups, one will wake up a year from now in the same place, making the same complaints, with nothing to show for it. The other will wake up stronger, smarter, wealthier, and more in control than they've ever been. So the only question is, which one are you going to be? Let's get one thing straight. Your excuses are not protecting you. They are not helping you. They are not making your life easier. They are keeping you broke. Because every time you say, I don't have time, I don't have the right connections, or I wasn't born into money, you're doing one thing, giving yourself permission to stay the same. And that's the ugly truth. People who succeed aren't the ones who had perfect conditions. They're the ones who stopped making excuses and started making moves. Look at anyone who turned their life around, and you'll see the same thing. They had every reason to fail, every reason to quit, every reason to blame their situation, but they refused. You can't control where you started, but you can control whether you stay there. So ask yourself, are you going to let your excuses define your future, or are you ready to break the cycle? People love to say, it's just bad luck. Some people are just meant to struggle. The system is rigged. But here's the truth. The one reason people stay poor isn't luck, it's their habits. Your daily decisions shape your financial future. How you spend your money, how you invest your time, how you react to opportunities. Are you spending money you don't have to impress people who don't care? Are you wasting time on entertainment instead of education? Are you saying no to opportunities because they feel uncomfortable? That's not bad luck, that's self-sabotage. Look at the people who break free from poverty. They don't wait for luck. They don't hope for a miracle. They take control. They learn, they adjust. They sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term success. And that's the real difference. So stop waiting for luck, start creating your own. Think about sports for a second. A team that only plays defense can stop themselves from losing, but they can't win. That's how most people live their lives. They play defense, they avoid risk, they protect what little they have, they settle for survival instead of pushing for success. But winners, they play offense. They take risks, they go after opportunities. They don't just sit back and react to life, they make life react to them. So ask yourself, are you just surviving or are you attacking your goals? Because if all you do is play defense, you'll never score. Blaming the world is easy. It feels good, it takes the weight off your shoulders. But here's the problem. It also takes away your power. Because the moment you say it's the economy's fault or it's because of where I was born, you're telling yourself you have no control. And if you have no control, you have no reason to try. That is a dangerous mindset. Because the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No politician, no government, no lucky break. Your life is your responsibility. Successful people don't waste time blaming. They focus on what they can control, their skills, their mindset, their work ethic, their decisions. So stop looking for someone to blame. Start looking in the mirror. Because that's where change begins. It's not luck, it's not talent, it's not even intelligence. The real difference between those who build wealth and those who stay stuck is simple. Their mindset and their choices. Wealthy people think long-term. Broke people think short-term. Wealthy people focus on growth. Broke people focus on comfort. Wealthy people invest in themselves and skills, in assets. Broke people spend on things that lose value, on distractions, on temporary pleasure. Look around, the patterns are everywhere. Two people can start in the same place. Same background, same challenges. One ends up successful, the other stays struggling. Why? Because one decided to take control of their future while the other made excuses. So ask yourself, are your daily habits leading you toward wealth or keeping you stuck in struggle? Because success is not a mystery, it's a choice. Let me tell you something, nothing will hold you back faster than blaming your circumstances. When you refuse to take responsibility, you give away your power. You're saying, I can't do anything about this. And when you believe that, you don't even try to change. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. Not the government, not your boss, not your family. If you want a better life, you have to take full ownership of where you are and where you're going. Yes, some people start with advantages. Yes, life is unfair. But dwelling on that doesn't change anything. What changes things? Action. The moment you say, this is my life, and I'm responsible for my results, everything shifts. You stop waiting and you start doing. You stop blaming and you start learning. That's the mindset that creates winners. So if you're tired of where you are, stop looking for someone to blame and start looking for solutions. The difference between the top 1% and everyone else isn't just money. It's how they think. Most people ask, how can I make money? The top 1% ask, how can I create value? Most people see obstacles and stop. The top 1% see obstacles and find a way through. Most people say, I can't afford that. The top 1% say, how can I afford that? Do you see the difference? One mindset is focused on limits, the other is focused on possibilities. And that small shift from seeing problems to seeing opportunities changes everything. Because when you start thinking like the top 1%, you stop waiting for permission. You stop making excuses. You start creating opportunities instead of hoping for them. And that's how real success is built. So which mindset are you choosing? One simple phrase can determine your entire financial future. I can't afford it. It sounds harmless, but every time you say it, you reinforce a mindset of limitation. You shut down possibilities before even looking for solutions. Now contrast that with this. How can I afford it? See the difference? One statement ends the conversation. The other sparks creativity, effort, and problem solving. This is the mindset difference between people who stay broke and those who build wealth. One group sees obstacles and stops. The other sees obstacles and finds a way through. History is full of people who started with nothing but refused to let their circumstances define them. Steve Jobs couldn't afford a college education, so he found ways to learn outside of school. Oprah Winfrey grew up in poverty, yet she refused to let that be her story. The moment you shift your thinking from I can't to how can I, you unlock new possibilities. You stop waiting and start creating. So ask yourself, are your words holding you back, or are they pushing you forward? Let me tell you something. The way you talk to yourself matters. Every thought you repeat, every belief you reinforce, programs your mind like software. If you keep saying, I'll never be rich, guess what? Your brain will find ways to make that true. If you believe money is hard to get, you'll subconsciously avoid opportunities. But here's the good news. Just like bad programming can be rewritten, so can your mindset. Instead of saying, I'm not good with money, say, I'm learning how to manage my finances. Instead of, I'll never make more, say, I'm finding ways to increase my income. It's not about lying to yourself, it's about training your brain to look for solutions instead of excuses. Think of your mind like a GPS. If you input the wrong destination, you'll end up lost. But if you set your focus on growth, abundance, and opportunity, your brain will guide you there. Change your words, change your beliefs, change your future. Most people don't realize this, but the most expensive thing in life isn't failure. It's never trying at all. Self-limiting beliefs are the invisible chains that keep people stuck. I'm not smart enough. I wasn't born rich. I don't have the right connections. And what happens? They settle. They shrink their dreams to match their doubts. And they spend their lives watching others succeed, never realizing they could have done the same. The truth is, the biggest cost of self-limiting beliefs isn't just missed money, it's missed potential. How many ideas go unpursued? How many opportunities are ignored? How many people live small because they've convinced themselves they can't be more? But here's the reality. The only real limits are the ones you accept, and the cost of accepting them, a life that never reaches its full potential. So what beliefs are holding you back? And more importantly, are you ready to let them go? Have you ever wondered why so many lottery winners end up broke? They win millions, life-changing money, and yet within a few years, they're worse off than before. It doesn't make sense, right? But there's a reason for it, and it has nothing to do with luck. Money isn't the problem. Mindset is. You see, if someone with a broke mentality suddenly gets rich, they don't magically become financially wise overnight. They spend recklessly. They don't invest. They give in to pressure from friends and family. They live like the money will never run out until it does. Why? Because their financial thermostat is set too low. Imagine your mindset like a thermostat in a house. If it's set to 18 DDC, even if you open all the windows and let the hot air in, eventually the system will bring the temperature back down to 18 DEGC. That's what happens when someone with a poor money mindset suddenly gets rich. Their habits, beliefs, and decisions pull them back to where they started. And it's not just lottery winners. This happens to athletes, entertainers, even regular people who get sudden financial windfalls. So the real question is, if you suddenly got $1 million today, would you know how to keep it? Because if you don't change your mindset first, the money won't change your life. It'll only amplify the habits that are already there. Let me tell you something. Your bank account is a reflection of your mindset. It's not just about how much money you make. It's about how you think, act, and manage what you have. That's why some people earn six figures and still live paycheck to paycheck, while others make far less and build wealth. If your mindset is set to scarcity, you will always struggle, no matter how much you make. You'll spend it as soon as you get it. You'll avoid learning about investing because it feels intimidating. You'll make excuses instead of taking action. But if your mindset is set to growth, you'll take a different path. You'll learn how to manage money before you even have a lot of it. You'll see opportunities instead of obstacles. You'll create systems that make wealth inevitable. Think about people who started with nothing. Warren Buffett was delivering newspapers as a kid, but he studied money like his life depended on it. Jeff Bezos worked in a garage before building Amazon. These people didn't wait for money to fix their lives. They fixed their minds first, and the money followed. So ask yourself, where is your financial thermostat set? Because if it's on low, it's time to raise the temperature. If you want to change your financial future, you have to start with your mindset. Step one. Change your relationship with money. Stop seeing it as something hard to get, something evil, or something only lucky people have. Money is a tool. And the more you learn to use it, the more power you have over your future. Step 2, surround yourself with financial wisdom. If your circle is full of people who are always broke, complaining, and avoiding responsibility, guess what? That mentality will rub off on you. Start reading books about wealth. Listen to people who've built success from the ground up. Replace bad influences with better ones. Step 3, take control of your habits. Wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Track your spending, cut out unnecessary expenses, learn about investing, even if you start small. If you don't control your money will control you. Step 4, act like the person you want to become. If you want to be wealthy, start making decisions like a wealthy person now. That means planning long-term, making smart financial choices, and refusing to live in the moment at the cost of your future. Because here's the truth, you don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your habits. So if you want to change your financial thermostat, don't wait. Start rewiring your mindset today, because once you do, success won't be a matter of if, it'll be a matter of when. Let's cut the excuses. Let's drop the pity party. You are exactly where you are today because of the choices you've made. I know. That's a hard pill to swallow. But the sooner you accept it, the sooner you can change it. Too many people waste their lives blaming circumstances, bad luck, or other people. They say, I didn't get the right opportunities, or the system is rigged against me. Maybe life has been unfair to you. Maybe you've had setbacks that weren't your fault. But let me tell you something. Staying stuck is a choice. We all know people who have been through hell, poverty, trauma, loss, and still found a way to win. And we know people who had every advantage handed to them, yet still managed to lose everything. What's the difference? Mindset. You can let life's hardships define you, or you can use them as fuel. But no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. If you don't step up and take control, nothing will change. So ask yourself, are you ready to face the truth? Are you ready to take ownership? Because that's where real transformation begins. Let me tell you about the most powerful decision you will ever make. The decision to take radical responsibility for your life. What does that mean? It means no more blaming, no more waiting, no more excuses. It means looking in the mirror and saying, everything in my life, good or bad, is a direct result of my actions, my choices, and my mindset. This is the moment everything changes. Because when you take full responsibility, you take back your power. When you blame the economy, you give up control. When you blame your past, you stay stuck in it. When you blame other people, you put your future in their hands. But when you own everything, even the things that weren't your fault, you become unstoppable. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has faced failure, rejection, and hardship. The difference? They didn't let it define them. They didn't sit around waiting for things to get better. They made them better. And you can do the same. But it starts with a choice. Will you take full ownership of your life, or will you keep making excuses? This is the defining moment, right here, right now. You have two choices. You can keep doing what you've always done, complaining, procrastinating, playing small, or you can rise up and demand more from yourself. This isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about discipline. This is about getting up every day and doing what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Winners don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait until they feel ready. They take action now. They invest in themselves. They outwork their excuses. They refuse to stay stuck. So what's it going to be? Will you let another year pass by telling yourself the same tired stories? Or will you draw a line in the sand and say, enough, I am done playing small, I am done waiting, I am taking control of my future? Because at the end of the day, your life is yours, your results are yours, and whether you rise or stay stuck, it's on you. Choose wisely. Let's get something straight. Complaining never built a business. Whining never created wealth. Sitting around pointing fingers and feeling sorry for yourself has never put money in anyone's bank account. Successful people, they don't waste time making excuses. They don't dwell on problems. They find solutions. Do you know what separates winners from everyone else? When life knocks them down, they don't sit there crying about how unfair it is. They get up, they adjust, they figure it out. Look at the people who built something from nothing. Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty. Howard Schultz, raised in a housing complex for the poor. Elon Musk, bullied relentlessly as a child. Do you think they got where they are by whining about how hard life was? No, they decided they were going to win anyway. So ask yourself, are you spending more time complaining about your situation than changing it? Because the truth is, the more energy you waste blaming your circumstances, the less you have to actually fix them. You can't afford to be a victim. The world doesn't pay victims. It pays problem solvers, the ones who adapt, the ones who take action. So the next time you catch yourself whining, stop. Replace complaints with solutions. Because no one gets rich by feeling sorry for themselves. But those who take control, they change their lives. Here's the brutal truth. If nothing changes in your mindset, nothing changes in your life. Your income, your success, your opportunities, they all start with the way you think. And if you're still operating with the same beliefs, habits, and excuses you had last year, don't be surprised when you're stuck in the same place next year. Think about it. How many people stay broke not because they lack potential, but because they refuse to upgrade their mindset? They tell themselves the same old stories. I'll never make that kind of money. I wasn't born into wealth. People like me don't succeed. And guess what? That belief system becomes their reality. Your mindset is either your biggest asset or your greatest liability. It's the difference between a person who struggles for years and someone who turns their life around in months. So what's the cost of staying the same? Simple. Everything you say you want but will never have. The house, the freedom, the ability to take care of your family, the peace of mind knowing you're in control. It's all on the other side of a mindset shift. And the longer you wait to change it, the more expensive it gets. Too many people waste their lives waiting for a lucky break, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for some miracle that will magically change their circumstances. Let me tell you something, waiting is the enemy of success. You know who gets ahead? The ones who take action before they feel ready. The ones who move even when they're scared. The ones who understand that success isn't about luck, it's about strategy, discipline, and relentless execution. You've seen it before. People who say, if only I won the lottery, my problems would be solved. And yet, over 70% of lottery winners go broke within a few years. Why? Because money doesn't change who you are. It only amplifies your habits. If you're not financially smart now, getting more money won't fix that. If you don't have the discipline now, more opportunities won't magically make you successful. Stop waiting for a miracle. Start creating one. Do the hard work, build the skills, take the risks. Because the people who win in life, they don't wait. They go get it. Let's talk about waiting. How many times have you said, I'll start next week, I'll do it when I have more time, or now's just not the right moment? Let me be blunt with you. There is no perfect moment. There is no magical time when everything aligns, when fear disappears, when all the obstacles vanish. That day will never come. And every day you wait, that's another day you stay stuck, another day you struggle, another day you push your dreams further into the future until one day there's no time left at all. Look around. How many people do you know who spent their whole lives waiting for the right opportunity, waiting to feel ready, waiting for someone to come save them? And where are they now? Still struggling, still waiting, because waiting is a trap. The ones who make it, they don't wait. They start, even when they're unsure, even when they're scared, even when they don't have all the answers. You don't need more time, you need to make a decision. Because if you keep waiting, you'll keep struggling, but if you take action, no matter how small, you move forward, you take control, and that's when everything changes. Listen carefully, the moment you blame someone else for where you are in life, you give them power over you. You blame your parents, you just handed them control over your future. You blame the economy, you just let it decide your income. You blame your past, you just made it your future. Blame is the easiest thing in the world. It's comfortable, it's convenient, but do you know what it also is? Completely useless. Because here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you success. No one owes you anything. And if you don't take responsibility for where you are, you'll never have the power to change it. Look at every self-made success story. Whether it's Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, or Elon Musk, every single one of them had reasons to blame others, reasons to quit, but they didn't. They took full ownership of their life, the good, the bad, and everything in between. Because winners don't waste time playing the victim. They get up, they adapt, they take control. So ask yourself, are you blaming or are you building? Because if you keep blaming, you'll keep losing. But if you take responsibility, you take back your power, and that's when you start winning. Let's be honest. You know what you need to do. You know the habits you need to break, the risks you need to take, the work you need to put in. But instead, you avoid it, you procrastinate, you distract yourself with excuses, and for what? To delay the discomfort, to pretend the problem isn't there, to fool yourself into thinking that if you just ignore it long enough, it will go away. It won't. In fact, the more you avoid, the worse it gets. The deeper the hole you dig, the bigger the fear grows. Avoiding the hard conversations, that's how relationships break. Avoiding your finances, that's how debt piles up. Avoiding your potential, that's how dreams die. Pain is inevitable. But suffering is a choice. And avoiding reality only guarantees more suffering down the road. So stop running, face it, do the thing you're scared of, because on the other side of that fear, that's where your freedom is. If you keep avoiding, you'll keep suffering. But if you confront it, you'll grow, you'll get stronger, and you'll finally move forward. Most people believe their biggest problem is money. They think if I just had more money, all my problems would go away. But let me tell you something. That's a lie. Money is not your real struggle. Money is just a symptom. If a person with a broke mindset wins the lottery, where do they end up? Right back where they started, broke. That's not speculation, that's a fact. Nearly 70% of lottery winners lose it all within a few years, because the real problem isn't the lack of money. It's the lack of financial discipline, strategy, and mindset. If money were the real issue, then getting a raise would make people rich, but how many people get a pay raise and still live paycheck to paycheck? If money were the real issue, then rich celebrities wouldn't go bankrupt. But how many times have you heard about athletes or entertainers making millions, then losing it all? Money doesn't fix money problems. Mindset does. Because if you don't know how to manage $1,000, you won't know how to manage $100,000. If you don't have control over your spending habits when you're struggling, you won't have control when you're thriving. Your financial reality is a reflection of your habits, your beliefs, and your choices. Change those and the money will follow. Let's get real. There's something keeping you stuck. And it's not your job. It's not the economy. It's not your upbringing. It's you. More specifically, it's the way you think about money. Do you believe money is hard to earn? Do you think people with wealth must have gotten lucky? Do you feel guilty about wanting more? Because here's the truth. Your mindset is the thermostat for your success. Think about it. If your thermostat is set to broke, then no matter how much money comes your way, you'll always find a way back to struggle. You'll overspend. You'll self-sabotage. You'll make bad investments. Not because you're unlucky, not because the system is rigged, but because deep down your internal settings are programmed for survival, not success. And that mindset, that's the invisible chain keeping you in the same cycle. The people who break free, the ones who go from nothing to something, they don't just change their income, they change their identity. They stop seeing money as something that happens to them and start seeing it as something they create. They stop thinking like employees and start thinking like owners. They stop waiting for opportunities and start making them. So the real question isn't how do I make more money? The real question is how do I rewire the way I think about money? Because once you fix the mindset, the money follows every single time. People assume wealth starts with external changes, new opportunities, better jobs, bigger salaries. But that's backwards. Wealth doesn't start in your bank account. It starts in your mind. Look at every self-made millionaire. They didn't wait for a perfect moment. They didn't complain about what they didn't have. They took what little they had and started building. They developed discipline. They controlled their spending. They studied money like their life depended on it. Because here's the secret. Making money isn't the hard part. Keeping it and multiplying it is. And that requires a shift from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset. From I can't afford this to how can I afford this? From rich people are greedy to wealth is a tool to create freedom. From I hope things changed to I will change things. Success isn't about luck, it's about alignment. If your mindset isn't built for wealth, no amount of money will stick. But if you shift your thinking, if you elevate your mindset, if you learn to manage and multiply money, wealth will become a natural byproduct. Because wealth isn't about what's in your wallet, it's about what's in your mind. Imagine this, you wake up one day and find yourself locked in a small, dark room. No windows, no doors that you can see, just four walls closing in on you. You panic, you bang on the walls, you scream for help. Days pass, weeks, maybe even years. Eventually you stop yelling, you stop fighting. You accept the walls around you. This is just life, right? This is just how things are. And then one day, maybe out of frustration, maybe out of desperation, you reach into your pocket and there it is, a key that was with you the whole time. Now you might be thinking, that's a nice story, but what does it have to do with me? Everything. Because that room, that's the life you're stuck in right now. The limits, the struggles, the frustrations, they feel like they're closing in on you. But here's what you don't realize. The key to getting out has been with you all along. It's not in someone else's hands. It's not locked away in some unreachable place. It's right there in your pocket. The real question is, are you going to use it? Most people go through life believing they're trapped. Trapped by their circumstances, trapped by their past, trapped by their own self-doubt. They look at successful people and think they must have had better luck, better connections, better opportunities. But that's not true. The only difference between people who stay stuck and people who break free, one of them decides to reach for the key. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I can't because? How many times have you waited for someone to come and rescue you? Let me tell you something. Nobody is coming to save you. No one is going to unlock the door for you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You have to reach into your own pocket. You have to take responsibility. You have to make the decision to change. You have to stop waiting and start moving. Because the longer you sit there, the more comfortable the cage becomes. And comfort is the enemy of growth. At the end of the day, it all comes down to a choice. Are you going to sit there knowing you have the key but doing nothing? Or are you going to stand up, unlock the door, and walk into the unknown? Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it means you'll have to change. But the alternative is spending your life stuck in a cage you built for yourself. You weren't meant to live like that. You weren't meant to sit in the dark, accepting a life that doesn't fulfill you. You were meant to break free. You were meant to rise. You were meant for more. So what's it going to be? Will you stay in the cell or will you walk free? Let me ask you something. What's the price you're paying right now for staying the same? Not in money, not in potential, in the life you could have had. Because whether you realize it or not, staying the same is expensive. Every single day you don't take action, you're paying for it in missed opportunities, in wasted time, in dreams that die before they ever have a chance to live. People always talk about the cost of change, like it's too hard, too risky, too uncomfortable. But have you ever stopped to think about the cost of not changing? Think about where you are right now. Now think about being in the exact same place 5 years from now. Same struggles, same frustrations, same excuses. How does that feel? Because that's what happens when you refuse to grow. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Success doesn't wait for you to be comfortable. And your future doesn't care about your excuses. You either move forward or you stay stuck. And staying stuck, that's the most expensive decision you can make. There's one decision that separates the people who win from the people who stay broke, frustrated, and stuck. And it's not luck, it's not talent, it's not even intelligence. It's the decision to stop waiting and start acting. Because let me tell you something, no one is going to hand you success. No one is coming to pull you out of your struggles. No one is going to magically make your life better. You have to decide, you have to take responsibility. You have to stop blaming, stop complaining, and start taking action. The people who win in life, they don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait to feel motivated. They don't wait for someone else to give them permission. They move. They take risks. They step into the unknown and figure it out as they go. And the ones who stay broke, they sit on the sidelines waiting for a sign, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for things to be easy. Guess what? That moment never comes. The only way out is through. The only way forward is action. So are you going to make the decision to rise or keep making excuses? At this point, you have two options. Option one, you ignore everything you just heard. You keep doing what you've always done. You stay in your comfort zone, even if it's killing your potential. And if that's your choice, fine, but don't expect your life to change. Or option two, you step up. You stop running from responsibility. You stop waiting for the right time and make the time right now. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect conditions. You just need to start. Because life will not wait for you. The opportunity is here. The choice is yours. So what's it going to be? Step up or stay stuck? And there's a battle happening right now, and whether you realize it or not, you're in it. It's not a battle between you and the economy. It's not a battle between you and your boss. It's not even a battle between you and your circumstances. It's a battle between the way you think and the way you act. Because wealth isn't built by accident, it's built by choices. Daily, consistent choices that either move you forward or keep you stuck. So let me ask you, are your decisions putting you on the path to financial freedom, or are they keeping you in the cycle of struggle? Because here's the truth. Your financial future is shaped by what you do when no one is watching, by whether you invest your time or waste it, by whether you make excuses or take responsibility, by whether you let fear control you or push through it anyway. People love to say, I'll start when I have more money. But that's not how it works. You don't wait for wealth, you create it. And the battle, it's happening every single day. The question is, are you fighting to win, or are you letting your own habits, doubts, and excuses beat you? Most people think the difference between rich and poor is money. It's not. It's mindset. Because money doesn't change who you are, it amplifies it. A broke mindset with $1 million is still a broke mindset. That's why lottery winners go bankrupt. That's why people who chase quick money always lose it. That's why some of the wealthiest people on earth started with nothing but ended up with everything. It's the way you think that determines whether you stay broke or become wealthy. Broke mindsets say, I can't afford that. Wealth mindsets ask, how can I afford that? Broke mindsets blame circumstances. Wealth mindsets chase control. Broke mindsets chase fast money. Wealth mindsets build long-term value. And here's the truth. Until you shift your mindset, no amount of money will ever be enough. You don't need a better job. You need a better way of thinking. You don't need a lucky break. You need a better approach. Because if you don't fix your mindset, your money problems will follow you no matter how much you make. Money is not the goal. Freedom is. Opportunity is. Control over your life is. And to get there, you don't just need more money. You need a different way of thinking. The world will try to convince you that wealth is about luck, that it's about being born into the right family, getting the right connections, or stumbling onto some big break. But if that were true, every rich kid would stay rich. And we know that's not the case. Because money without the right mindset is temporary. Wealthy people don't just have money, they have a different way of seeing the world. They look at problems and see solutions. They see failures as lessons. They see time as an investment, not something to be wasted. They understand that money is a tool, not a savior. So let me ask you, are you just chasing dollars, or are you building a mindset that will make you unstoppable? Because real wealth isn't just about what's in your bank account. It's about what's in your mind. Let me tell you something. Your words shape your reality. And one of the biggest differences between people who struggle financially and those who build wealth is the way they talk to themselves. Broke mindsets say, I don't have enough. Wealthy mindsets ask, how can I create more? Do you see the difference? One is a dead end, the other is a door. When you say, I don't have enough, you shut down all possibilities. You accept defeat before you even try. You focus on what's missing, and that keeps you stuck. But when you ask, how can I create more, you shift your brain into problem-solving mode. Instead of focusing on limitations, you start looking for solutions. And that's the mindset that builds wealth. Take two people in the same situation, both broke, both struggling. One sits back and complains about how unfair life is. The other starts asking, what skills can I learn? What value can I offer? What opportunities am I not seeing? Guess who's going to change their life? Your words aren't just words. They're the blueprint for your future. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Opportunities are everywhere, but not everyone sees them. Why? Because what you focus on determines what you find. A person with a broke mindset looks at a challenge and sees a roadblock. A person with a wealthy mindset looks at the same challenge and sees a stepping stone. Two people can see the same situation completely differently. A struggling economy, one person panics. Another sees a chance to invest while prices are low. A company laying off workers, one person sees disaster, another sees an opportunity to start something new. A new skill that takes years to master. One person says it's too hard, another says if I start now, I'll be ahead in 5 years. It's not about luck. It's not about circumstances. It's about perspective. Because here's the reality. Opportunities don't scream. They whisper. And if your mind is stuck on excuses, you'll never hear them. The people who succeed, they've trained themselves to look for the open door instead of staring at the wall. So ask yourself, are you seeing obstacles or are you looking for opportunities? Because what you look for, you will find. Your life moves in the direction of your focus. If you focus on problems, you'll find more problems. If you focus on limitations, you'll feel stuck. If you focus on excuses, you'll never move forward. But if you focus on solutions, you'll start seeing possibilities. If you focus on growth, you'll start finding ways to improve. If you focus on action, your life will start to change. This isn't motivational fluff, it's science. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, RAS. It's like a filter that decides what's important and what gets ignored. Ever notice that when you're thinking about buying a certain car, you suddenly see it everywhere? That's your Raz at work. Now imagine if you trained your brain to focus on opportunities instead of obstacles. Imagine if you stopped looking for proof that life is unfair and started looking for ways to win. Imagine if instead of saying, why can't I catch a break, you started asking, what can I do right now to move forward? Because here's the truth. Your financial reality is not just about how much money you make. It's about what you focus on, what you believe, and what you consistently do. So if you want to change your life, start by changing what you focus on. Let me ask you something. Are you hoping or are you doing? Because there's a massive difference between hoping things will get better and deciding they will. I hope I get out of debt. I hope I find a better job. I hope one day I can live the life I want. Sounds familiar? Hope feels nice. It's comforting. It lets you believe that maybe, just maybe, something will magically turn around. But hope by itself is weak. You don't hope your bills will get paid, you make sure they do. You don't hope your health improves, you take action to fix it. You don't hope your dreams come true, you make them happen. The people who win in life, they don't sit around hoping. They make a plan, they move, they execute. Because when you say, I will make things change, everything shifts. That's when you stop waiting for permission. That's when you stop blaming circumstances. That's when you stop making excuses. You don't wait for the right time. You don't wait for motivation. You don't wait for a lucky break. You get up, you take control, you make things happen. Because nothing changes until you change it. Let's be real. Nobody is coming to save you. Not luck, not a handout, not a perfect opportunity that falls into your lap. Too many people waste years waiting for the right moment, waiting for the perfect circumstances, waiting for someone to come along and give them a chance. And guess what? That day never comes. Because while waiting, someone else is working. While hesitating, someone else is executing. While hoping, someone else is executing. The truth is, success is never handed out, it's taken. And if you keep waiting for the stars to align, you'll be in the same place 5 years from now, wondering why nothing changed. So stop waiting, stop hoping, stop expecting someone else to fix your life. Because the only person who can do that is you. So how do you go from hoping to doing, from wishing to winning? Step one, make a decision. Not a half-hearted, I'll try. Not a week, maybe one day. A real, this is happening no matter what. Because until you decide, fully commit, you'll keep making excuses. Step two, take action before you feel ready. Most people wait until they feel like it, until they're motivated, until it's the right time. But the secret, action creates motivation. You don't wait to feel ready, you start and the momentum makes you ready. Step three, get rid of the escape plan. Burn the bridges back to your old life. Remove the option of quitting. Make success your only path forward. Because when quitting is off the table, guess what happens? You find a way. Step four, build discipline, not just excitement. Motivation fades, hype dies, but discipline, that's what keeps you moving when things get hard. And things will get hard. You'll fail, you'll doubt yourself, you'll want to give up. But if you've made the decision, if you've taken away the option of failure, you'll push through. And that's when things change. So stop wishing, start moving, because you are the only one who can change your life. Let me ask you something. What's more dangerous, taking a risk and failing, or playing it safe and staying stuck? Most people don't even realize that avoiding risk is the biggest risk of all. They say, I can't start a business, it's too risky. I can't invest, it's too risky. I can't leave this job I hate, it's too risky. But here's the truth, staying where you are, that's risky. Living paycheck to paycheck, that's risky. Relying on one source of income, hoping nothing ever goes wrong, that's incredibly risky. Because while you're busy avoiding risk, time is passing, inflation is rising, opportunities are slipping away, and before you know it, years have gone by, and you're in the same place wondering why nothing changed. The people who win in life, they understand that taking action, moving forward, even when it's uncomfortable, is the only way to get ahead. Because if you don't take control of your future, someone else will. Let's get real. What are you actually afraid of? Failing, losing money, looking stupid. Fear of failure stops more dreams than actual failure ever could. But let me tell you something. Every successful person you admire, every millionaire, every leader, every innovator, they've failed more times than you can imagine. Elon Musk, his first companies crashed. Oprah fired from her first TV job. Steve Jobs kicked out of his own company. But they didn't let failure define them. They used it. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. It's the training ground. You fail, you learn. You learn, You adjust. You adjust, you improve, and then you win. But if you let fear of failure stop you from even trying, you guarantee one thing: you'll never win. Because the only way to fail for sure is to never start. Picture this. You're 80 years old, sitting in a chair, looking back on your life. What will you regret more? The risks you took that didn't work out, or the chances you never took at all? I'll tell you right now, regret is far heavier than failure. Because failure, you can recover from that. You can learn, adapt, and try again. But regret stays with you. Regret is waking up every day knowing you could have done something great, but didn't. And trust me, years from now, you won't remember the little failures. You'll remember the opportunities you let slip away. So stop hesitating. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop letting fear dictate your future, because the only real risk in life is never taking one. Let's cut through the noise. Your financial situation, your bank balance, your opportunities or lack of them, they are your responsibility, no one else's. Not the government, not the economy, not your parents, not your boss. It's easy to blame circumstances, to say, I wasn't born into money, or life is unfair, or I just don't have the right connections. But let me ask you this, how does that thinking help you? Does it put money in your bank account? Does it open doors? Does it move you forward? Or does it keep you stuck waiting for someone else to change your life for you? Excuses might feel comforting in the moment, but they rob you of power. Every second you spend blaming something outside yourself is a second you could have spent changing your situation. So here's the truth. You might not be responsible for where you started, but you are responsible for where you go from here. And the moment you accept that, everything changes. Let me tell you, when real change happens, it happens the second you look in the mirror and say, everything in my life right now is a result of the choices I've made. That's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? But it's also the most freeing realization you will ever have. Because if your choices got you here, then new choices can get you somewhere better. Think about it. The job you stay in, the money you spend, the knowledge you do or don't seek, the habits you build. Every single decision, big or small, is shaping your future. Successful people, they don't wait for perfect circumstances. They don't wait for luck. They take ownership. They ask, what can I do today to change my situation? What skill can I learn? What investment can I make? What opportunity can I create? And they take action. Because once you stop waiting and start deciding, that's when life starts moving in your favor. Every day you have a choice. You can wake up, go through the motions, let life push you around and hope things get better someday. Or you can take control. You can decide to be the one in charge. You can start leading your life instead of just reacting to it. Because here's the harsh truth. If you don't take the lead, someone else will. Your boss, the economy, circumstances outside your control. And that's how people wake up one day wondering, how did I get here? Why am I struggling? Why do I feel stuck? The answer, because they let life happen to them instead of making life happen for them. So today you need to decide, are you going to keep waiting, or are you going to take the lead? Because your future's being built right now, whether you're building it on purpose or just letting it happen. Lead your life or be led by life. The choice is yours. Let me tell you something powerful, something that if you truly understand it will change your life forever. You already have everything you need to succeed. Not next year, not when the economy improves, not when someone gives you a lucky break, right now. The tools, the potential, the ideas, the drive, it's all already inside you. But most people don't believe that. They think wealth belongs to a select few, the lucky ones, the talented ones, the ones who had a head start. But history proves otherwise. Some of the most successful people in the world started with nothing, no money, no connections, no safety net. What separated them? They activated what was already within them. And that's the difference. Not what you have, but what you do with it. People love to believe that success is about luck, that the wealthy were handed something they never got, that talent alone determines who rises and who struggles. But let's get real. If success was about luck, lottery winners would stay rich. If talent was enough, the most gifted musicians wouldn't die broke. If background mattered most, first-generation immigrants wouldn't build billion-dollar companies. What actually separates those who win from those who stay stuck? One word: activation. Successful people activate their minds. They activate their hunger. They activate their hunger. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait to be ready. They don't sit around wishing for the perfect conditions. They start where they are with what they have and they build from there. And here's the truth. You can have all the intelligence, all the ideas, all the resources in the world, but if you never activate them, they mean nothing. So the question isn't, do you have what it takes? The question is, too many people waste years looking for the secret to success. They jump from one idea to the next. They chase shortcuts. They blame outside circumstances. But let me tell you something. There is no magic formula, no hidden trick, no overnight solution. The answer has been with you the entire time. And the moment you stop looking out there for success and start looking in here, that's when everything shifts. Because no book, no mentor, no business, no opportunity can replace what's inside you. The drive, the resilience, the discipline, the ability to learn and adapt. That is where success is built. Not in luck, not in handouts, not in waiting for the perfect moment. You already have what you need. Now it's time to use it. Excuses are not just words, they are chains. Every time you say, I don't have time, I'm too tired, I wasn't born rich, you are tightening those chains around yourself. Excuses don't just hold you back, they become your reality. Think about it. When you tell yourself you're not good enough, you start acting like you're not good enough. When you say you don't have opportunities, you stop looking for them. When you believe success is impossible for you, you never even try. And before you know it, that excuse isn't just something you said, it's who you became. Excuses are self-fulfilling prophecies. If you keep saying, I'll start next week, you'll still be saying it a year from now. If you keep blaming the economy, your boss, or your upbringing, you'll stay stuck exactly where you are. But here's the truth. Successful people face the same struggles. The difference? They don't accept excuses. They don't wait to feel motivated. They act. They don't hope for change. They create it. So ask yourself, are your words building your future or destroying it? Because every excuse you make is a decision to stay the same. Let me say this loud and clear. No one is coming. Not your boss, not the government, not some mentor who's going to magically pull you up. No one is coming to save you. And before you think that's bad news, let me tell you, it's actually the most empowering truth you'll ever hear. Because the moment you accept that you are 100% responsible for your life, everything changes. You stop waiting, you stop hoping for a break, you stop thinking success is something that happens to you. Instead, you realize success is something you create. Look at the most successful people in the world. They weren't rescued. They didn't wait for someone to fix their circumstances. They took control. Elon Musk was nearly bankrupt before Tesla took off. Oprah was told she wasn't fit for television. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Nobody saved them, they saved themselves. And you? You have that same power. But only if you stop waiting and start owning your life. Nothing changes until you change. You can read all the books, watch all the motivational videos, make all the plans, but until you take full ownership of every choice you make, nothing will be different. That means owning your failures, not blaming them on bad luck or unfair circumstances. That means owning your habits, not pretending you just don't have time. That means owning your results, not making excuses for why things haven't worked out. Because here's the reality. Every decision you make, big or small, is shaping your future. What you eat, how you spend your time, who you surround yourself with, whether you hit snooze or get up and take action. It all adds up. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the result of your choices. And the best part, that means you can change everything. Right now, not tomorrow, not next month, now. So what are you choosing? Because every action you take is either moving you forward or holding you back. And the moment you fully own that truth is the moment your life finally starts to change. Every time you complain, you are giving your power away. Think about it. What does complaining actually accomplish? Does it change your situation? Does it make you stronger? Does it get you closer to your goals? No, it drains you. It keeps you stuck. It makes you believe you're a victim instead of the one in control. We all know someone who complains about their job but never looks for a better one. Who complains about money but never learns how to manage it. Who complains about their health but refuses to change their habits. And maybe, at some point, that's been you. But here's the truth. Every complaint is wasted energy that could have been used to find a solution. The next time you catch yourself saying, I hate my job, ask yourself, what am I doing to change it? If you find yourself thinking, I'm always broke, ask, what skill can I learn to make more money? Every second you spend complaining is a second you could have spent fixing the problem. And the people who succeed in life, they don't waste time talking about what's wrong. They take action to make it right. Life will hit you. You will fail. You will lose people. You will have moments where nothing makes sense, and you'll be tempted to ask, why me? But that question is a trap. Why me? Keeps you stuck in the past. It makes you look for someone to blame instead of a way forward. It makes you believe the world is against you, when in reality, life is just life, and life doesn't care about fair. You have two choices. Stay in why me mode and let life push you around, or shift to what now and take back control. Because what now is powerful. It forces you to focus on solutions instead of problems. It forces you to act instead of complain. It forces you to grow instead of staying where you are. Every successful person has had every reason to say, why me? But they didn't. They turned their pain into fuel. So the next time life knocks you down, don't waste energy asking why me. Stand up and say, what now? And then do something about it. The difference between wealthy people and everyone else isn't luck, talent, or intelligence. It's how they see problems. Where most people see obstacles, the wealthy see opportunities. When the economy crashes, most people panic. Wealthy people find a way to invest. When technology changes, most people complain. Wealthy people learn the new system and get ahead. When life throws challenges their way, most people break. Wealthy people adapt and grow stronger. This mindset isn't something they're born with. It's something they train. They have trained themselves to stop reacting emotionally and start thinking strategically. They have trained themselves to ask, how can I use this? How can I turn this into an advantage? They have trained themselves to act instead of fear. That's why they win. And you can train yourself the same way. The next time you face a setback, remind yourself, this is a test. Are you going to complain, or are you going to find a way? Because that choice, the choice to see opportunity where others see failure, is the difference between success and staying stuck. Your mind is either your greatest asset or your biggest enemy. If you've been stuck in the same financial situation for years, if money always seems to slip through your fingers, if wealth feels like something only other people have, it's not because the world is unfair, it's because of the way you think. A scarcity mindset tells you there's never enough. It makes you fear spending, hesitate on opportunities, and cling to security instead of taking risks. Scarcity makes you think wealth is for them, not for you. An abundance mindset flips the script. It doesn't mean being reckless or pretending money isn't real. It means believing there are always opportunities. It means knowing that wealth isn't a limited resource. It's something you can create. Look at the most successful people in the world. Do you think they spend their time worrying about money or attracting it? Do they hold on to every dollar in fear, or do they invest in themselves and their future? Scarcity makes you play defense. Abundance makes you play offense. And the only way to win is to stop living in fear and start thinking like someone who deserves wealth. Money is not just numbers on a screen. It's not just paper in your pocket. Money is energy, and it flows to people who know how to handle it. If you believe money is evil, you'll never have it. If you believe making money is hard, you'll always struggle. If you believe you don't deserve wealth, you'll find ways to sabotage yourself. But if you believe money is a tool, if you believe it's something you can learn to control, then you'll start making different choices. You'll start earning instead of wishing. You'll stop working for money and start making money work for you. Think about it. The people who build wealth don't have more luck. They have a different mindset. They see money as something that grows, not something that disappears. They see every expense as an investment, not a loss. They see every financial setback as a lesson, not a reason to quit. So ask yourself, what do I believe about money? Because those beliefs are shaping your reality, whether you realize it or not. Success isn't built overnight. It's built in the small, consistent choices you make every single day. Want to think like the wealthy? Then act like the wealthy, not by spending recklessly, but by training your mind to see opportunities instead of limitations. Here's where you start. Speak wealth into existence. Stop saying I'm broke. Stop saying I can't afford it. Instead, say, how can I afford it? Words shape your reality. Use them wisely. Invest in yourself. Every skill you learn, every book you read, every course you take makes you more valuable. The more valuable you are, the more money you attract. Surround yourself with people who think big. If the people around you only talk about problems, find new people. Wealth is contagious, so is scarcity. Track your money. If you don't respect what you have, you won't get more. Wealthy people know where their money goes. They control it instead of letting it control them. Take action. Thinking rich means nothing if you don't act on it. Start that business, ask for that raise, make that investment. Action is what separates dreamers from earners. Wealth is not a number. It's a mindset. And the moment you shift your thinking, the moment you start living with abundance instead of fear, everything changes. Let me ask you something. What are you planting in your mind every day? Because your thoughts, they're seeds. And what you plant is what you harvest. If you plant doubt, don't expect confidence to grow. If you plant excuses, don't expect results. If you plant fear, don't expect courage. Some people go through life wondering why they never succeed, why nothing ever changes. They think they're just unlucky. But the truth, they've been planting weeds for years and expecting a garden of success. That's not how it works. Every time you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I don't deserve success, you're planting weeds. And weeds will choke out anything good trying to grow. But if you plant discipline, you harvest strength. If you plant resilience, you harvest success. If you plant belief, you harvest opportunity. The question is, what are you planting? Your mind is like soil. It doesn't care what you plant. It will grow whatever you feed it. So let's be real. What are you feeding yourself every single day? Are you feeding yourself stories about how life is unfair? About how you'll never make it, about how success is only for people with better connections, more talent, more luck? Because if that's what you're telling yourself, you're not just thinking negative, you're training yourself to fail before you even start. Let me tell you about two kinds of people. One sees obstacles and says, this is impossible. The other sees the same obstacles and says, this is a challenge. I'll find a way through. Same situation, same world, different beliefs. And guess what? The second person, they win. Because they refuse to feed the lies that keep most people stuck. You can't expect a strong body if you feed it junk every day, and you can't expect a strong mind if you feed it negativity. You need to starve your doubts. You need to cut off the beliefs that are poisoning your potential. Because if you don't, they'll spread. And they'll destroy every opportunity before you even take it. Here's the bottom line. Your potential is a seed. It can grow into something great, or it can rot in the dirt, and you decide which one it's going to be. Because success, it doesn't just happen, it's cultivated. Farmers don't throw seeds in the ground and hope for the best. They prepare the soil, they pull out the weeds, they water their crops every single day, even when they don't see results yet. That's exactly how success works. So here's your challenge. Are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to pull out the weeds, the excuses, the doubts, the fears? Are you willing to water your goals daily, even when it feels like nothing is happening? Because the people who succeed, they keep planting, they keep working, and eventually the harvest comes. So what's it going to be? Are you cultivating success, or are you letting your future rot before it even begins? Most people aren't lost. They aren't clueless. They don't lack information. They know what they should do. They know they need to eat better. They know they need to save money. They know they need to wake up earlier, work harder, stop procrastinating. But knowing isn't the problem, doing is. Let me tell you something. The gap between where you are and where you want to be, it isn't knowledge, it's action. You've read the books, you've watched the videos, you've planned and prepared, but when it comes time to take the first step, what happens? You freeze, you hesitate, you tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week, next month, next year. That's why most people fail, not because they don't know what to do, but because they never do it. And here's the worst part. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. You start doubting yourself. You start believing the lie that maybe it's just not meant for you. But let me be clear. Success isn't about destiny, it's about decisions. The people who win aren't the smartest, the luckiest, or the most talented. They're the ones who move. So let me ask you, are you going to keep waiting, or are you finally going to act? There's a brutal truth about life that most people ignore. If you don't take control, someone else will. Your time, your energy, your potential. If you don't claim them, someone else is happy to use them for their own gain. You don't control your health, fast food companies will. You don't control your finances, banks and credit cards will. You don't control your time, your boss, your emails, and endless distractions will. Look around. How many people are living a life they didn't choose? Stuck in jobs they hate, drowning in debt, running in circles with no direction. You think they planned for that? No. It happened because they let it happen. They gave up control. But here's the good news. You can take it back. The moment you stop making excuses and start making decisions, everything changes. So what's it going to be? Are you going to let life happen to you, or are you going to take the wheel and drive? Too many people sit around waiting for the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect plan. And while they're waiting, someone else is out there taking action, making mistakes, learning, winning. Success isn't built in a day. It's built in small steps taken consistently. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You take one step, then another, and another. Want to get in shape? Start by walking 10 minutes a day. Want to build a business? Make your first call. Send your first email. Want to change your life? Do one thing today that moves you forward. Stop overthinking, stop doubting, just start. Because once you do, momentum kicks in, confidence builds, and before you know it, you're not stuck anymore, you're moving. And moving is the difference between those who make it and those who don't. Let me ask you a question. If I gave you an extra $10,000 today, would it change your life? Some of you are thinking, yes, of course it would. But let's be real. If you don't have control over your money right now, more money isn't going to fix that. We've all seen it. People who win the lottery and end up broke. Athletes who make millions but go bankrupt. Celebrities who have everything and still lose it all. Why? Because money isn't the problem, habits are. If you can't manage $1,000, you won't magically get better at managing $10,000. If you're drowning in debt, more income won't save you. Better decisions will. The truth is, most people don't need a bigger paycheck, they need a better plan. They need to stop treating money like a lottery ticket and start treating it like a tool. So ask yourself, is your problem really about not having enough money, or is it about not using what you have wisely? Picture this, you've got a bucket and you're filling it with water. But there's a problem. There are tiny holes in the bottom. No matter how much water you pour in, it keeps leaking out. And before you know it, your bucket is empty. That's exactly how most people treat their finances. It's not the big expenses that ruin them, it's the small leaks they ignore. The daily coffee that adds up to $100 a month, the subscription services you forgot about, the impulse buys that seemed harmless at the time. Individually, they don't seem like a big deal. But over time, they drain your financial future. Here's the truth. Your money is either working for you or slipping through your fingers. And if you don't take control of the leaks, you'll never fill that bucket, no matter how much you earn. So take a hard look at where your money is really going, because a few small changes could be the difference between struggle and stability. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Does this mean I have to stop enjoying life? Never go out, never buy anything fun? Absolutely not. Cutting waste isn't about punishing yourself. It's about making smarter choices. Instead of buying coffee every day, make it at home and save the cafe visits for the weekend. Instead of signing up for every streaming service, pick one or two you actually use. Instead of eating out 5 times a week, cook more meals and enjoy restaurant food as a treat. These aren't sacrifices, they're adjustments. They give you control over your money without making you miserable. Because let's be honest, if your financial plan makes you feel trapped, you won't stick to it. The key is to prioritize what truly matters to you and cut out the things that don't. When you take control of your spending, something powerful happens. You stop feeling broke. You stop feeling like money is always slipping away. And you start seeing real progress toward the life you actually want. So don't wait, start today. Because a few small changes now can lead to massive freedom in the future. Let me tell you something most people don't want to hear. If you're struggling financially, it's not just about your job, your boss, or the economy. It's about you. Your income is a reflection of what you know and what you can do. Think about it. Why does a surgeon make more than a cashier? Why does an investor earn more than someone working minimum wage? It's not just luck, it's not just opportunity, it's knowledge. Your ability to earn more is directly tied to your ability to learn more. If you're stuck in the same place, earning the same amount year after year, ask yourself, am I growing? Am I learning? Am I expanding my skills? Because your paycheck will never outgrow your mindset, your habits, and your level of expertise. The world doesn't pay for excuses, it pays for value. And the more you know, the more value you can bring. So if you want to make more, start by becoming more. There's a huge difference between spending money and investing money. And that difference can either keep you struggling or set you up for a lifetime of success. Spending is easy. You buy a new phone, you eat out every night, you upgrade your car, it feels good for a moment, but it doesn't change you. It doesn't grow your skills. It doesn't increase your income. Investing, on the other hand, is different. When you invest in yourself, whether it's books, courses, training, mentorship, you're building something that lasts. Let me ask you, when was the last time you spent money on your own growth? Not entertainment, not distractions, growth. If you're willing to drop $100 on a weekend out, but won't invest that same amount into learning a skill that could make you thousands, that's not a money problem, that's a priority problem. The most successful people don't just work for money, they make money work for them. And one of the best investments you can ever make is in your mind. Because when you level up your knowledge, everything else levels up with it. Let's break it down into a simple formula. Pick a skill that has real value. Sales, coding, digital marketing, public speaking, negotiation. These are skills that open doors. Don't just wait for someone to teach you. Seek out knowledge. Read books, take online courses, find mentors. Knowledge alone is useless if you don't use it. Too many people get stuck in learning mode, reading and watching, but never doing. The real growth happens when you take action. When you practice, fail, adjust, and improve. When you become good at something, the money follows. Employers pay for skills. Clients pay for results. People don't pay for what you know. They pay for what you can do. The most successful people never stop learning. They don't just reach a certain level and stay there. They keep growing, keep improving, keep finding new ways to bring value. So here's the challenge. What skill will you start learning today? Because the sooner you start, the sooner you grow. And the sooner you grow, the sooner you earn. Learn, apply, earn, repeat. That's how you change your future. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when I'm ready? How many dreams, ideas, or opportunities have you put on hold because you felt like you weren't prepared enough? Let me tell you the hard truth. That day will never come. Perfectionism is a lie we tell ourselves to justify inaction. We convince ourselves that we need more time, more knowledge, more experience. But what we're really doing is procrastinating. You see, perfectionism isn't about high standards. It's about fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. And instead of facing that fear, we hide behind excuses. I just want it to be perfect. But perfection is a moving target. The more you chase it, the further it gets. Look at the most successful people in the world. They didn't start perfect, they started messy, they started uncertain, they started before they were ready, because success isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And progress only happens when you take action. Let me ask you something. Have you ever sat around overthinking something, stressing about the right decision, only to end up doing nothing? That's what hesitation does. It traps you in your own head. But here's the secret. Clarity doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing. Imagine you're standing in front of a foggy road. You can't see what's ahead, so you hesitate, but if you take just one step forward, the fog shifts. Take another step and it clears even more. That's how action works. You don't need to have it all figured out, you just need to start moving. The moment you take action, things become clear. You learn, you adjust, you gain confidence. Think about the first time you tried something new, driving a car, starting a job, speaking in front of a crowd. It was scary, right? But once you did it, once you took action, the fear started to fade. You got better, you built momentum. That's how you win, not by waiting, not by overthinking, but by moving forward. Because hesitation kills dreams, but momentum changes everything. If perfectionism is holding you back, if hesitation is keeping you stuck, there's one simple way to break free. Make one small move. Not 10 steps, not a 5-year plan, just one small move. Want to start a business? You don't need a perfect business plan. Just write down the idea. Want to get in shape? You don't need a fancy gym membership. Just do 10 push-ups. Want to improve your life? You don't need to change everything overnight. Just pick one habit to improve today. Because here's the thing. Action leads to more action. When you take one step, it becomes easier to take another and another, and before you know it, you built momentum. But if you sit there waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect conditions, you'll still be sitting there years from now wondering why nothing changed. So forget perfection, forget hesitation, just take one small move and then another, because once you start, you'll realize something powerful. You were never really stuck, you were just waiting to move. You're either breaking free or you're staying stuck. There is no in between. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. Every single day, you're making a choice, whether you realize it or not. You're either pushing forward, breaking free from the habits, excuses, and limitations that have kept you stuck, or you're staying exactly where you are, settling for a life that doesn't fulfill you. There is no middle ground. A lot of people like to believe they're thinking about changing, but let me tell you something. Thinking about change isn't change. Wishing for a better life isn't action. You're either taking steps towards something better, or you're reinforcing the same patterns that got you here in the first place. Ask yourself right now, am I moving forward or am I standing still? Because standing still is an illusion. If you're not progressing, you're falling behind. And the longer you stay stuck, the harder it gets to break free. Let's be real. Most people don't change until life forces them to, until they hit rock bottom. Until they get that wake-up call they can't ignore. The doctor tells them their health is at risk. The bills pile up and they realize they're drowning in debt. The relationship falls apart because they took it for granted. The opportunity they could have had goes to someone else, and suddenly they're desperate to change. But why does it have to get to that point? Why do people wait until the damage is done before they take their lives seriously? Because comfort is easy. Because later feels safe. Because no one wants to face the truth that time is not unlimited. But if you wait until you're forced to change, you've already lost time you'll never get back, and sometimes you don't get a second chance. The question is, are you going to wait until life makes the choice for you, or are you going to step up and take control before it's too late? Every choice you make leads to one of two pains, the pain of regret or the pain of discipline. The pain of regret is heavy, it lingers, it stays with you long after the opportunity is gone. It keeps you up at night whispering, what if? It reminds you of the chances you didn't take, the risks you avoided, the potential you wasted. But the pain of discipline, that pain is temporary. It's the sweat in the gym, the early mornings, the sacrifices. It's the discomfort of pushing yourself when you don't feel like it. But unlike regret, discipline pays you back. One pain lasts forever, the other builds the life you want. So which one will you choose? Because make no mistake, you are choosing. Every single day, will you put in the work now, or will you live with the weight of what could have been? Let's cut through the noise. So many people think the secret to success is finding the right mentor, the perfect book, the one course that will unlock everything for them. They believe if they just learn more, then finally they'll be ready to change. But let me tell you the truth. None of those things will change your life if you don't take action. You can read every book on success. You can sit front row at every seminar. You can spend thousands of dollars on courses, but if you don't apply what you've learned, if you don't actually do the work, nothing happens. Knowledge without action is wasted potential. It's like stockpiling bricks, but never building the house. You're waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, but the perfect moment doesn't exist. No mentor can make you do the work. No book can force you to take action. No course can drag you to the life you want. You have to decide. You have to be the one who gets up and says, enough waiting. It's time to move. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start when I feel ready? How many times have you waited for motivation to kick in before taking action? Let me ask you something. Where has that gotten you? See, this is the trap most people fall into. They believe motivation comes first and action follows. That's backwards. Motivation isn't the spark that gets you moving. It's the result of taking action. Think about it. Have you ever forced yourself to start something even when you didn't feel like it, only to find that once you got going, you actually felt more motivated? That's because momentum creates motivation, not the other way around. Waiting for motivation is like waiting for a train that never arrives. If you only take action when you feel like it, you'll never get anywhere. Successful people, they don't rely on motivation, they rely on discipline. They know that motivation is fleeting, but habits stay. They train themselves to act regardless of how they feel. And that's the difference. Are you going to wait until you feel like it, or are you going to take action now, knowing that the feeling will follow? Because if you keep waiting, you'll be waiting forever. Let's be real. What's going to make tomorrow any different? You wake up every day with the same choices. And if you keep making the same ones, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing. If you don't change today, you won't change tomorrow. And if you don't change tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, your life stays the same. Harsh? Maybe, but it's the truth. Look around. Everything you have or don't have is the result of your past decisions. If you're not where you want to be, it's because you haven't made the changes necessary to get there. So here's the question. Are you going to keep living on repeat, Keep making the same excuses, keep saying one day while the clock keeps ticking, or are you going to wake up and realize that this, right now, is the moment that matters? Because time doesn't wait, and if you don't act today, don't be surprised when nothing changes. The choice is yours. But time isn't waiting. Powerful metaphor. You are the writer, the director, and the star. Let me tell you something. Your life is a movie, and whether you realize it or not, you are the writer, you are the director, you are the star. But here's the problem. Most people don't act like it. They live as if they're just extras in someone else's story. They let life push them around, waiting for someone to hand them a better script, waiting for the perfect scene to magically appear, but life doesn't work like that. Nobody is coming to rewrite your story. Nobody is coming to rescue you. If you don't like where your life is headed, it's time to grab the pen and change the script. Think about it. Every great film has setbacks. Every hero faces challenges. But what makes the story worth watching is what happens next. So what's it going to be? Are you going to sit back and watch your life play out like a bad rerun? Or are you going to take control and create a story worth telling? Because the truth is, you are always writing your next chapter. The only question is, are you writing a masterpiece or a forgettable scene? Every person has a story. But not every story is one of victory. Some people live success stories, stories of courage, persistence, and triumph. Others live tragedies, stories of missed opportunities, excuses, and regret. Which one are you living? Think about it. If someone watched the last 5 years of your life like a movie, what would they see? A character fighting for their dreams, or someone running from their potential? Would they see a hero, or would they see a person stuck in the same cycles, making the same excuses, repeating the same mistakes? Here's the truth. Your life will become the story you decide to tell. You can be the person who says, I tried, I failed, I kept going, and I won. Or you can be the person who says, I could have, I should have, but I didn't. One is inspiring, the other is heartbreaking. So ask yourself, is your current path leading to a story worth remembering? Or are you letting fear, laziness, or doubt turn your life into a tragedy because you're the main character and the world is watching?